It's coming, Mrs. Harry, it's coming.
Please turn me till the message plays.
But just think, I could have been doing that for so many years, climbing up there, you know, and getting back down some blue overalls on. Commonwealth bogies. What are a faster speed bogie, and obviously they're on coils rather than like big cart springs. Oh, someone's having a fire here. It's a watercolour sky, that is. Look, all sinks and toilets. They're changing lights. It's like being at disco in Hawes. I don't think they have a disco in Hawes. Oh, didn't see it there. It's me, Thomas Edwards, also known as TE. And I've just come back from a show at Ripon, a classic car show in Livia. BMW E36, and look where I am. Oh, look, Wensleydale Station. This is actually on Wensleydale Line. I was here many years ago doing a bit of deviance, bashing many diesels, and I think it was a couple of maybe one Doughtic. First time I went on the Doughtic was here, and a few other bits and bats. But we're actually going to follow this line back because we're working his way back across to TE Towers in Cumbria. So this line here in front of us, as we know, it's the Wensleydale Railway today. Well, many moons ago, it was a big thriving station there, not like you see it today. And then it ran all the way through all the many years ago, even before TE's man was born in 1950. And actually, when it got into the 1950s, it shut to passengers, and then I think it sat dormant for a few years. And I think, if memory serves me right, or what I've been told, in 1963, when we had the big great storm, the snowstorm, where there was big, massive, I don't know, like 20-foot high drift, they reopened it because all this valley was blocked up and they couldn't get to it by road. To get the ploughs out and steam and run back down here to like parcels and food, like the food train and the mail train had to come down. But then this line wasn't really, even though it was shut to passengers, it was still open for many years after that, all the way up to the 90s, I think, as late as the 90s, for freight, because at the end of this line, Redmire, they have to quarry stones out of it, and then they'd come up here with it. So this station saw many years of freight coming up and down. I think I've actually seen a grid on it, a Class 5060. You not in the know, but they nicknamed the grid, a nerdy TE name that is.
Daily freight service to and from the limestone quarries at Redmire.
A little bit later on, in my 20s, when I was becoming active in the union, I rebelled at this, and we resisted this sort of working every time we could.
And when we came, firstly I should say this line originally went from North Allerton all the way up to Garsdale and Hawes. But when it got to the Garsdale end, there was a second company what ran the Garsdale to Hawes section, and then there was this company what ran this side. But nowadays, when you can come and pay to do a bit of bashing yourself and a bit of preserved action, it goes from Leeming Bar to goes to Leyburn. But when we came for the diesel gala about 11 years ago, 2011, came actually in a very faded Vauxhall Astra Mark III, but it's famous, this line, for in recent years for some paces in recent years. What did they go out action late 2020, early 21? They kept trying to redraw them, and then finally they did, and a lot went to scrap. But a lot, you know, just think in the 80s and 70s when they scrapped some like great stuff like Peaks, they didn't rescue many of them, or Class 40s, there's not many of them. But these things, every preserved railway country wanted one because they were like 25 grand. I think they got quite a few here. I think they got a couple. So that one there is 142041. I think I zoomed in on my camera and got it. So anyone out there who's got a book and you've bashed these, and these are your favourite engines, or unit I should say, or multiple units, get in your book, see if you've bashed it, and if you have, comment below and you'll get a gold star from TE. You know, you're on top at board, yeah, if you've ridden that. If you're not, you've missed out. You've got a nice Wensleydale station here, and oh, look, a Sierra Cosworth Mark II. I should say a Sierra Sapphire Cosworth. Anyway, we're getting distracted. So at Wensleydale Station, you've got the crossing for the road here, or a crossing keeper. You've got a signal box here, what's very, very nicely done. And it's grade 2 listed, and I think they refurbished. I think it got grade 2 listed in 2009, and I think a bit before that it was refurbed. But when they preserved this line and got it running, I think it opened 2003, and then a few years after they got all the station and then probably all the box all sorted out and got it really properly functioning. You know, they had to do it up like a classic car. They had to refurb it to get it back into action again. And I think in there, that's quite a favourite bit for TE is. That is the outside trap. And if you don't know what a trap is, it's where you go and read the paper when you need to do something in that certain day after your wife's made you so many sandwiches for your dinner. And you go in there. And I bet you there is. If you go in there today, I bet you down the back of the pipe of the bog, I bet you there's a paper shoved down the back of it. Well, let's get back on the road and follow the line up, and as we go across country, we'll see what else we can spot. TE, what might be interesting for a wee little video. I think we can make a nice little good video out of this. Because you never know, on TE moochies, you never know what you're going to find, and you never know what you're going to learn. And every day is a learning day with TE. St Andrew's Church. I just noticed it's got a bit of twin bell action up top, look. Right up top there. Ding! And then it'd be like another ding, so it'd be two dings. St Andrew's Church is a medieval church, and it has medieval windows on the back. It has something else in it as well, I can't quite remember what it was. There's something in the roof was quite important to it. But it's a medieval church, and apparently it was sort of, you know, back in the day the church was sort of the head of the the village, and it was the main worship place where everyone would come. And around where we stood, all this land, was a medieval village. And in the 1600s, there was many plagues, and one of the plagues, it was something like a water infection, something like that. It came through that kind of area, deserted the village, and they went up the hill to get away from it, and made a new village at Finghall, and that's where we're going to go next. But before we go there, I'm just going to mention there's a big line of trees there, and I think that's the old way into the church. It's like the old walkway, and the trees sort of, you can still see it, like it replicates where it was, and many years ago. And I'm also looking up here, we're parked in this grassy area, Olivia's parked in this grassy area where the car park is. There's some big old stone balls. Now T likes stone balls on driveways, because imagine one day T tells of a couple of balls in the end of the driveway. And it looks like it's been a driveway going up there into something, maybe like the south entrance of Finghall Hall, you know, an actual hall. Maybe, I'm just going off the top of my head here. And it's there's a ball there and a bit something over there, so there you go. But we're going to go up to Finghall next, and I think we're going to find some nose bag. I think that's the next step. And see some locomotive action. Maybe we won't sit there because it's shut up shop, but we'll see a station anyway, see Finghall station. Oh, it's raining. Right, there you go. It was just raining then. I couldn't say. I just had to get out the pub and get in the car, and then it stopped. And oh, it's gone. There was a big rainbow there. You might have seen it. So we're in Finghall. We're in the village at the top, and I was saying about the plague, and they moved the village up to the top of the hill. Oh, this is Finghall, up at the top of the hill. And we went in the Queen's Head, and we had a bit of nose bag. You might have seen a bit of clip there, a bit of nose bag. I had, was it burger, cheese, bacon and chips? And then instead of coleslaw, I said, can I have some tomatoes? So I got some tomatoes. It's very good of them. So we had a nose bag, but I brought you down to the end of the car park because there's something interesting about all of this place around here. And it's not just the railway what's interesting. So over there was a massive forest over across the valley. Huge, look, it's massive. And that's wild wood. Well, you'd actually think it's not actually the name now, but you'd be thinking, I know wildwood, and that word is associated with Kenneth Graham, who wrote Wind in the Willows. And they say, with a little stream in the bottom of the valley, what we'll show you in a bit, actually, when we go down there, was actually where he based it on. You know, the Wind in the Willows, and the little stream where ratty, mole, badger and toad all hung out, and just, you know, and Toad, when he got in his car, you know, boop boop, it's like good that, and he got obsessed with the motor car. Sounds like a TE thing, that does.
Tomorrow, boop boop. Now Toad, boop boop, boop boop, boop boop.
And but we're going to show you that. But we're going to show you first. We're going to go back and kind of looks like there's still a bit of raindrops about. But we're going to go down to Fingal Station and have a mooch on the station and then show you another station on the Wensleydale Line. Excuse me, I just had a hiccup then. This is Fingal Station. And to be honest, it reminds me of going when we were having very early TE days in Wales, looking at little stations like this. What was still actually a public like main line where this is preserved now, obviously, but they were like this and they were still like running. But look at that, it's got a little veranda on the back. It's all proper sort of little castellated bits, very railway cottage, and look at all ivory going up end. And it's actually a massive cottage, look, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chimneys, but lots of little pots on top. Here, this very station is where, oh, we're just going to get run over. Bear with us. No, it isn't, it's here. You waved, you thought it was railway behind us. They're going for Nosebag at the Queen's Head there. So where were we? So here, this is famously filmed on All Creatures Great and Small. And it's actually the leaflet we got in the car. There's a picture of it. I think there's a big old rover on it, a big like P4 or something like that. It wasn't a 5, a P4 on here. So that's pretty good, isn't it? A bit of showbiz in the middle. Wow, in the middle. Yeah, it's coming, Mr. Harry. It's coming. It's no, it's one of them. So we're on the station now. You're actually allowed on it. You can come on it. Oh, wow, pretty cool mess room. Can't beat a good mess room with a. I've got hiccups. Still got hiccups. With a mess room with a tin kettle. No, not a kettle. A teapot and a table, and you can sit down and you can have banter. That's what mess rooms are all about. Is banter. Wow, check out that. When we arrived at Bedale, we didn't film it because we only really decided to film it once we got to Bedale at the station. But before we got there, the gates were shut and a teddy bear came across. It might have been that one when it was the photos faded. Oh, look, there's a big milk tank coming up the road. They've got very big milk tankers on there. They're not that big. In Cumbria, we only have solid units, not like an articulated truck. So anyway, the teddy bear, I think it's faded a picture, but it looks green there, but it was red when we saw it. And so that's a teddy bear, a class 14, 2 class 20s. That's nose end there. You can't beat a class 20 nose end. They look good. Oh, it's a little board, so it's indicators, that's it, indicators. It's all to do with, there's a whole book. Mark Waterman, not related to Pete Waterman, will tell you this, and public cameraman was more up to it than I, clued up to it, I should say. All those different, what's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he's got that, they lift up and they're white underneath and they've got a light. But whatever ones you lift up, it's like, shows if it's passenger freight or it's freight what's got nothing on the back or it's loaded up and all sorts of stuff. You can go into a whole TE massive obsessional video just about them if I really wanted to. Maybe one day. And that's another 20, a green one. Maybe that's the same 20 actually when it was refurbed, a bit like that. That's quite a recent photo, that is. It's a direct rail service, DRS class 20. When we had the Montfurnish line, I can just about remember 20s when the DRS had them. There's a class 60, nicknamed the Polo Mint, because you can see through the grills of the engine. You can see from that side to the other side, so we nicknamed the Polo Mint. And they worked, when they were brand new, they worked in the Peak, like up at Buxton, High Peak. And they have the big, they have the polo stones, the millstones. What you see them on the moors now, they have them as plaques now rather than originally, and then there's a shunting house, probably a Rushton or something. I don't know. I'm not too up on shunters. That's serious deviant shunters. It's really serious deviant. And a Class 37, quite nice, in old sort of rail freight colours. Up at the top here is a kettle or a steam engine locomotive. It looks very similar to one I saw at Arley at Severn Valley in a few videos about a month ago now. It could be an S15. So I've just seen more stuff here, but I'm just going to say, look down there, look you can see right miles down there. All the hills are not. You can see where the rays of sun are coming through the clouds down there, and then the rain's coming in. That rain, which was passed over top roads, is over there now. Summer rain with lots of rainbows and lots of sun, and only lasts about 10 minutes. Proper summer rain. This station is actually set up like me and the cameraman that the TE Empire would like to have, where we park the cars with rain gutters and big butts. Oh, they fold. You can hear them, they fold in that hollow. Oh. There we go. We can't beat that. Just needed to do that, and just because we really want these. We'll bung holes on them with me portable power washer, so we can power wash some MGs or BMWs. With some of them, we always fancied putting them in. There's lots of nice plants around. Fingal Lane, way out. There's some lamps, and there's bird boxes, flowers. There's a post box. Someone's house. So I think that's a buffalo horns there. And I think there used to be a stag's head on here, but it seems to have disappeared. I don't know where it is. Is it up here? Step to get on your coaches. No, it's getting into someone's garden there. So no, the stag's head has disappeared. I think I can hear a bit of thrash, not Class 37 thrash. I think I can see I can hear a John Deere. I bet you it's a John Deere, and he's got a tether on the back. See, he knows his tractors. He had a big yellow CB whip on back, and his tether on. It's a grass cutting season, doing silage. That's what they're doing at the moment. But it's raining. We've got to get back on the road. I think it's not these normal TE videos. Normally say the sun is going down on TE. Well, the rain is pouring down on TE today instead. So that's what's going on. So I've come down here and it's started to rain again. These summer rains, I quite enjoy it actually. It's atmospheric. So we stood underneath this tree, it's stopping rain getting on camera. And we come down to what's known as, in the real world, as Burton Beck. And a little bridge there, and it's tiny, it's only a little stream. And that's where Kenneth Graham got inspired, apparently, to do Wind in the Willows on this little stream here. And it's also where, and up there is Wild Wood. All that dark woodland up there is Wild Wood. And apparently he used to walk over, and behind me is St Andrew's Church, where we earlier on, the medieval church is down that little lane there. And apparently Kenneth Graham used to walk down from Village across. There's loads of footpaths all over here, and walk down and look at church. So he could have sat down there where TE's been. And also in the 70s, the cameraman's been on holiday here. I think over there in a caravan, a static caravan. So you won't be able to see, it's in trees. And I think there's a picture somewhere, so we might have to dig out. And up there's actually a big manor house, like a TE Towers or some. Take no prisoners over here, Dear me. We'll dig a pictures out, and I can put it in when I was talking about it then. Livia's looking good, Look at evening sun going down. She's dead shiny. I've had her all cleaned up. You can probably just see a tiny bit of rough patch on the front door. That's okay. The rest of the car's all right. But she's actually on top of the boot and the bonnet and the roof. She's beading. It's serious beading. where the little, when you got wax and polish and paint and it rains, you get these really big fine bubbles that are really, and like little bubbles in between, like big rain droplets. And people with detail go absolutely mad over if you got a serious bead effect on your car after polishing. You win a reward, I think, or something like that. Oh, that's a big horde of concrete sleepers, isn't it? Must be thousands here. Welcome to Redmere Station. Oh, wow, this is pretty cool. Look at this, it's like a garage. Just think me and the cameraman could have the car collection in one of these. Probably get a couple of cars in here. This is exactly what we need, this. Wow, and then we're out on the station down here. It looks like the old station, the actual station is a Scouts place now. Redmere Station House Scouts. So it's not really a private dwelling, it's sort of probably a weekends thing. But I can see some Mark 1 coaches down there in the siding and some ballast wagons, I think, or some flat wagons for rails, some bullhead rails. So we've come here, we missed Leyburn. We decided to get on because the sun is going down on TE as we speak. We thought we'd come here. This is where we came originally and parked when we came on the diesel gower in 2011, all those years ago. But it wasn't like this. Didn't even have any fencing or anything. You just turned up in that car park, got on, crashed away pretty much, and you did a bit of haulage. But anyway, we've come here, we thought I'd show you. It's just think they came here with the freight trains to 90s getting stone, you know. That's why there's probably quite a few bits of sidings and stuff still left, you know, because a lot of the line's single line, look, but this has still got quite a bit of line in here, pretty good. But we're gonna go up to Hawes and see sort of, this is sort of the end for Wensleydale Railway as a preserved railway here, sort of the very end. But we're going to carry the route of the line right up to Hawes, because at Hawes, the old station at Hawes it's like a cask cum shop, but it has a little, I think it's a saddle tank in, and a Mark 1 coach. So we're going to have a dog at them before it goes dark and possibly end there. But when this line got to Hawes originally, that's when the Midland Railway took over and took it to west. You know, and this is all northeastern bit here. Came from North Allington originally. So there you go. And I don't know where it is. We haven't found it yet. It's Bolton Castle around here, and it's here on this board. And Lord Bolton, it's still the actual original name. Lord Bolton still lives in Bolton Castle. It's got over 600 years of history, and it's a medieval castle. And the original owner, Mary Queen of Scots bedchamber in there, little bed. But apparently the original lord was Richard Lee Scope. His second name was Scope. Wonder if he wore scopers. No, he could have done, but maybe not 600 years ago. Quite nice here. Look, it's not being spoilt. It's just because it's a Scouts, because it's been turned into like a Scout hut, in the sense of things. It's not been gentrified, as I'd call it. It's still an old station, as you'd see it when this line shut to freight or shut to passenger in the 50s. You know, so it's still mega, isn't it? That? It's got a little fence around it to make it private, but it's not like the railway. It's not like the private dwelling stations we've seen, and something like the line what we followed from Wufferton to Bewley. There was some really posh station houses around there. Sun lighting up all that fell, that moorland, and big heavy clouds above it carrying rain across from the west to the east. That, you know, as my mum would say, that's a watercolour sky. That is. You could paint that sky because it's so thick with cloud. Now it's so thick you could almost get on top of that fell and reach up and touch it and get a clump of it like candy floss. Yeah, and eat it. New nose bag. Rain cloud. Or just maybe have a poke on the way out. There's old goods shed up there. It was like a platform where you'd load in and then load out on the other side where you would add a yard crane in it, and they probably had a cattle dock in it. Probably cattle dock might have been around here maybe, because it's quite high here, like it's had something on it. So we'll try and have a mooch down there. We'll go back in this really good, it's actually leaning, it's falling apart this is. But it's big. Oh, look at that. Loads of sleepers, and there's an E36 poking out at the end. It's like modern art, that is. A little shed here, that's original railway, I would have thought. I don't think that's been built since. It's leaking on top and he's trying to seal it up. And this is at Backett Station with many, many bunny rabbits bouncing around. We could live here. I wonder if this ever came up for sale, this could be the new TE Towers. Yeah, pretty good that would, wouldn't it? And we've got loads, even though you wouldn't own this land because this is the railways, you'd have this here and you could get a nice garage put up workshop. Come TE Studios, we could have a TE studio upstairs with an editing suite. All the mod cons. Any little station in all of England always had a very busy little goods yard, and it doesn't matter how small the station was, they would always have a goods yard, even if it was just a little head shunt into it, just a little siding. They'd always have, you know, in a bit of building, you'd have a man there. It would be Chief Gaffer, and he'd have his clipboard and mark everything off, and he'd have loads of labourers humping big sacks and parcels and all sorts of manner of things. Like if I ordered something from London, I don't know, I ordered a stone, like a marble-topped sink and some gold taps. Pete Waterman has genuine gold taps in his manor house. That's another story. And I could order it up, and it'd get put on a train in London, and it'd come up all the various lines. It'd probably come up the east coast because we're on this further this side. It wouldn't come up the west coast. And it'd come up here, and then you get it on Northampton, get it on this line, and then some poor chap would have to hump this big marble sink and these gold taps off the train into there, and then there'll be some, depending what period you're in, an era, there'd be either could be, if it's really old, it could be a horse-drawn cart, or it could have been tractor engines or steam trucks, but a light haulage, or a modern diesel, you know, or petrol, you know, petrol before diesel, little truck parked outside, picks it up and he drops it at my door. But we don't get that anymore, you know, or like the lines up at where I, like Ravenglass, where I'm from originally, can't do that. You just got to get Hermes come and drop you off now. And you got to, but the thing is, the difference between getting your goods on the railway might not have been, but I think the difference is it might not have been as damaged as if you got it from Hermes nowadays. But here we go, look at this. This is the back, this is the road side, so to speak. There's modern doors there, they've been put on later, but these wood doors, and the frames look original. And all this carport and this veranda here looks all original, and don't want to stand on it, but that's all original, all those planking. And they'd have all boxes and stuff out here, and crates. And there, look, there's other bits here. Some of it looks all like it's been added on at a later date. That looks very railway-ish, that concrete. But it looks very late, that does, compared to the building. It looks like it's had quite a lot of work and add-ons done onto it. And then up the back here someone's got a fire burning. There's a bit of maintenance, a bit of bush trimming. Greg, one of my patrons, would know about that. He does a lot of bush clearance on the railways, and he'd know that. I don't think you can have fires on the main railways now at the side burning some rubble, but back then you could. Oh look, Blue Bath, coming back in fashion there. Probably get a bit of money for that on eBay. And there you go, that's the back of the goods. So it's got a chimney in for the main gaffer to warm his hands against him while his labourers are working out here in cold. And to got some ballast up round it. Oh bloody hell, look all sinks and toilets. Wow. And a grey one. Wow, you don't realise that TE quite likes coloured baths. You know, so I'd be sat in the pan in my bungalow on my coloured toilet bog, and my coloured bath, and my coloured sink with gold taps. One day, if I can live the dream as Thomas Edward, and then I can get me Rolls Royce and come home and sit on the pan, as they say, and Bernard Manning actually had a phone in his toilet so he could do business while he was sat on the pan, so he didn't have to go downstairs for his phone. So you see, line's quite overgrown here, but it's good. They've flattened the outer ballast so they can get some dollies on, and also they can load up. You can see the overspills where they've been loading up ballast into wagons with a big telehandler or something, shoveling it up and dropping it in wagons. But also sometimes they flatten it out as well, so you can get your dollies on, or your road track machine, where you know, a Land Rover what can run on rails. There's some dollies up there actually, or rail trolleys. You know, over here, look, they've got a fire. Look, they've been burning. Looks like some 1970s wardrobes from looking at the panelling. Look. Oh yeah, look, the little brass lock on it. Yeah, it's a door. Yeah, it's a door off a wardrobe. Nice lock that. It's a shame that it's so hot I could unscrew that and rescue that. It's a nice little brass handle, that. It's a lock, a brass lock. There's a brass hinge. Oh, there's Rod. Rod's come to check up. And Rod's not with us today. He's at home, but he does come and follow us around. So if you see a Rod in a tree, you know, a raven or a crow, you always say that, oh, that could have been Rod checking up on TE. These are actually, they're rubber, aren't they? Yeah, they're big rubber slabs. And they put them on crossings on roads and little crossings, and you know, so it makes it flat so you can drive over it. But these are actually quite modern. The original ones would have been wooden sleepers, a bit like the furnace line. Rose actually still has quite a few wooden sleepers in places, and they haven't quite modernised it yet to stuff like this. But in the sense of things, maybe they shouldn't modernise it and keep it wood. Oh look, you can't beat a TE Mooch. I know I keep saying this, but you just can't. Because look what's over here. It's a bottom half of a signal. That's the bottom and this is the top. Could have been a semaphore, it could have had a light on it. And then there's a gantry up top there. You know, from like on top of a signal going across. Oh, there's loads of good stuff around here. Can't beat looking around at stuff like that. There's a bit of a ladder there, a signal ladder, you know, the hoop on, so you can lean back on it and not fall off. Oh, antifreeze mix. This big tub here says antifreeze mix. Maybe it's for engines, or I think looking at goods shed, it looks like it's had a bit of a garage in it at some point. And then there's some wood sleepers there, some new wood sleepers there, fresh they are, fresh and ready to go. Look, soaked in creosote. You put that in your fire, it would burn for days, but it would stink like how it would. So there you go. Right, we're gonna get up to Hawes and do the ending, and hopefully show you a little shunter engine in a coach. Well, there we go. We're here at the end at Hawes, and the station's actually been turned into a Dales Countryside Museum. And it's got the old lamps. These are actually retro. These aftermarket, what do you call them? New ones, what look like old ones. But if you got the original ones, they'll be worth quite a bit of cash, than it. But having said that, even them are worth a bit of money. But anyway, this is the end of the station. I said there was a saddle, but it's actually just a tank engine and a Mark 1 coach. Well, I think it has a calf on. Climb aboard. Look, oh no, it's got craft colour crate. Creative station. Oh yeah. And there's I forgot, there's a whole rake of 3 Mark 1 coaches and a tank engine. And we can actually go and have a mooch in here. And the toilets are open, so T's man will be very happy. Let's go for money end, the goal end up here. Let's get to main pack. Look, John Barker. Or Baker, John Baker. Well, that's pretty good. Got electrical box in, so they put lights in it and stuff, but the back of the boiler here, and firebox and some handles, but all regulators are gone, and all your sight glasses for your water levels have all gone. You got your big handbrake there. The windows come out here. Your regulators over there, actually, it's just been took off. I think I could have been doing that for so many years, climbing up there, and getting back down with some blue overalls on. Not been painted. It's just been. It's like a usable classic car. It's just been hand painted, and they put a little British Railways lion on it. But that would have been. It probably had some really nice crests on it originally when it was in steam. And it was working, but it's nice, nice red buffer beam. One of those things, they get kids, they say Sunday afternoon, when you're always at school and you look forward to that day where you didn't do work and you did creative things, and they got kids, let's paint the engine today, get all the bushes out and you paint it black, paint buffer beam red and running gear, look, all your connecting rods red. Pretty good, and all the layers of paint, look. All the layers of paint, just make it look nice for public. Just make it look like a station. And then you've got some Mark 1s in here. Look quite late bogies for a Mark 1. They're quite round. I think as I've said in a previous TE video, they could be Commonwealth bogies. What are a faster speed bogie, and obviously they're on coils rather than like big cart springs. So pretty good they are, those coaches. But we're gonna go up here. You can get down onto track bed. I think you can get onto other stations on other sides down here. They've put some. The handyman's got his tools out and put some new wood in here and new gates with proper like fire exit door latches on them. Look, posh. We get down here, across here. It's the old ding, woo. Nice and echoey there. Now this is end the line, But they just put this bit of line here for show. When we were going through all the other places after Redmer, the track was ripped up. What, look at that. Like mine wagons. Sam Morris would be well into that. Let me get a torch to see if we can light something up here. I think Sam Morris would be looking at them like, I could put them in my garden and have some track down. With all his mining equipment on his head, with his helmet and his light and his big donkey jacket. Could that blow Sam's head up, that would. Good view at engine from this side. Needs a bit of painting on this side. He probably can't reach it, needs ladders this side, you see. Needs a power wash, it's gone green. Needs the old Karcher on it. Right, this is here, they show you how they get the mine carts and push them to edge. This is a scale model. Push them there, and then they tip them in here. And then you put him in here, and this will crank over, he'll pump in, and crank all this, and it crushes it in there. And look, run by, say it's not pumping, I should say, run by a big water wheel at back. It's half out of a water wheel. There's nothing in the bottom. Mad. Changing lights. It's like being at disco in Hawes. I don't think they have a disco in Hawes. I don't think they've been invented up here yet. This is the other side. This is the old station here. Waiting room would have been in here. There would have been a ladies' waiting room and a gentleman's waiting room. It's station master. Would have been, from either side you'd come across. And you have one of those trolleys with your cases on. And probably a four-wheel one as well. This station is actually, look at all guttering and all end at roof and all beams and doors and all. It's the shape of the windows here. It's very Midland look. This is what a bit like Promenade looks like out the front, but it's very similar style. Got a nice LED light up there. We got one of them outside the house. Oh, look. Do you think it works?
Please turn me till the message plays.
To the four-wheel wagon, big four-wheel wagon, which had a tremendous thick body on it, which you would want yourself. And then when they came down from the quarry, which is very, very steep, and Burtesset Hills is very, very steep, they used to have a thing that they called a slipper, an iron thing with a chain on, and they used to sling it round and put it in the back wheel. And it locked it, you see, and it used to slide.
I'm paused. Please turn me some more.
Well, there you go. So you got to have a big muscle to wind that round to listen to that. But he was, that man then who was just talking about the quarry wagons, when they bring them down from mine, to slow them down coming down hill, they'd have a big bit of sleep and an iron bar with a chain, and they sling it underneath the back axle to stop it, and then it'd slide to slow it down. That's what he was talking about then. So there you go. This is, we won't go down there because the cameraman actually fell over down there about 15 years ago and cracked a few ribs. So we won't go down there. We'll go back up there. I think it's wise decision. Back of this fine tank engine, and we stood at the very end of the northeastern side of this line, and this is where it ends. And but then through that tunnel there, well, bridge, starts the Midland side of the line. What will go to the west. And as we put it out, I think that's the end of the Thomas Edward Mooch for today in 2022. And what month are we in now? June. If you've enjoyed today's video, give me a subscribe and a like, a big thumbs up, and make sure you comment below. And what do I say again? Oh, I'm just asking the tank engine what I say again. Yes, that's what I do, yeah. Remember to click that big bell. Ding!